What's going on, guys? In this video, I'm going to talk about two of the most profitable email flows for e-commerce businesses. And specifically, I'm going to compare and discuss the type of content that you want to include in these two different flows. So the first flow is the welcome series for non-buyers, which is the flow that people sign up to whenever they subscribe to the main offer you have on your website that you're using to incentivize signups. And then the other flow is a new customer welcome flow, or what we usually call the post-purchase flow. And that's the series of emails that people receive after they make their first purchase. And then also you want to have a unique version of this for repeat customers as they make repeat purchases as well. So in this video, I'm really going to talk about or focus on how you talk about your brand, and then also what to say about your products, because these are the two things where you're going to be making an introduction to these two different groups, and you want to do it in a unique way for someone who has never bought from you before versus someone who has bought from your brand and they're already more familiar with you. So first, when it comes to how you present your brand in the welcome series for non-buyers, at this point they are really more interested in what's in it for them than trying to go really deep into your brand story at this point. So I know I talk a lot about sharing your brand story in my videos on my channel, and you do want to share your brand story, but you really want to keep it brief and high level and focus on your biggest differentiators and try to say things about your brand that other competitors can't say. So for example, if you've won certain awards, if you have a patent, if your products have unique features, those are all things that you want to highlight, because you want to give them the information in a quick digestible form and try to help them make a quick decision on buying from you. And the reason why you don't want to go really deep into your brand story at this point is, again, at this point, they are more focused on what's in it for them, and they may not a lot of times care to go really deep into the story behind the brand. And we've tested this both ways, and we found that certain audiences prefer one version versus the other. So you can definitely test this in the welcome series. But what I have noticed over the last few years is that people like it better when we get to the point more, and then we start to do more of that deeper dive into the brand story in the post-purchase flow. So now in the post-purchase flow, this is where people are, after they've made a purchase, they're going and getting these emails. This is where we definitely do like to go deeper into the brand story, and especially if we can, take them behind the scenes, let them meet the founder, any kind of behind the scenes videos explaining how the products came to life, the vision for the company, showing past examples of products and showing them how it's evolved. These are things that people seem to really resonate with after they've already made a purchase from you. Another thing that's really important early on in the post-purchase flow is you need to give them all the information they need to have a smooth experience. So if that means, it could be unboxing information, it could be installation, it could be how to use the products, how to care for your products, anything that's going to set them up to have a great customer experience is going to be better for you and for them. It's going to cut down customer service, but it's also going to make sure they have a great experience right from the start with as little friction as possible, and they're going to be much more likely to make repeat purchases. So now when it comes to what to say about your products, and really more like which products to talk about in both of these email flows, in the welcome series, this is where I always say you want to give them what they want now so you can give them what they need later. So this is where you really want to focus more on your most popular products or the entry-level products. Say, for example, if you have like a flagship product and a bunch of accessories, you need to focus on the flagship product first, because they can't even use the accessories without that product. Now, they should definitely be aware of the accessories, but you don't want to put too much attention and too much effort into trying to sell them, because you're just wasting their time with these emails, because they need to get into the flagship product first. And then going back to giving them what they want versus what they need, a lot of times what I have found with brand owners is that, let's think in the case of, for example, like supplements or something like that, where they might be really passionate about these unique supplements they have, that there's, maybe there's a lot of science on them, and they've just have a lot of anecdotal data that this stuff works, but they're not products that are well known or popular in the market. And maybe they haven't really, educated the market on this yet. They're usually better off selling what the brand owner would consider more of the boring products, like the pre-workouts and the protein powders or whatever, the things that already have so much built up demand in the market because that's what people want first, and then focus on trying to educate them later and give them what they actually need later. And then in the post-purchase flow, when it comes to talking about your products or which products to focus on, this is now where you can start to give them more of what they need. So this is where you can start to educate them on the products that are maybe less popular, but just as, if not more important. This is where you would start upselling accessories. This is where you can do all of your upselling, cross-selling, downselling. And it's also where you can start to get them interested in bundles, because now they've taken your products for a test drive. They know they like them. And so now it's going to make more sense for them, and they'll get more value if they start to do these bundled orders, which is good for you because you raise the AOV. So again, these are things you can test, and that's really what I want to finish on here is when it comes to both of these flows, there's a few things that you should be doing and always keep in mind. So the first thing is you want to test different offers. So this is a general framework you can use to get started. But again, everything comes down to the individual brand and their audience. And sometimes people just react differently than what typically works with other brands. So first place to start would be testing the main offer you use to incentivize signups into your welcome series. Sometimes doing something as simple as just changing how you present the offer can make a huge difference in signups and conversions. So for example, let's say you had a 15% off discount as your main opt-in incentive, and you change that to $25 off plus free shipping. A lot of times, even if the discount works out to be about the same or even less, just seeing a dollar value relative to the price of the products that they would likely buy, a lot of times we'll actually just get way more signups. So this is something you definitely want to play around with. And then in the post-purchase flow, as far as doing your upselling, cross-selling, you really want to test the order in which you present certain products. So sometimes there's just a natural evolution where people buy one product and they go to the next and they go to the next. And if you have a lot of customer data, or if it's just they don't really have a choice but to do that, then you can start there. But in other cases, it's something where if you don't have a lot of past data to lean on, the quickest way to figure this out as far as, which products do people want to get into next is to test different offers in the post-purchase flow. So test the order in which you present these different products and see which one gets the best response and which one is generating the most sales. And then another thing is you want to be testing time delays between emails in both of these flows. And this is, again, something that works for one audience is completely different for another one. So sometimes new subscribers want a lot of information right away. So you could just be sending emails back to back with 1 to 2 days in between each email. Whereas in the other cases, some audiences, they get overwhelmed very quickly with email and they want more time in between each email. So it might be something like having 2, 3, 4, even 5 days in between those emails in the welcome series. And you can just set this up in Klaviyo and just look at which one's getting the better engagement and conversions. And then the same thing goes with post-purchase. Some customers, they like to get a break from emails after they make a purchase. That's actually a huge pain point for a lot of people, is they hate whenever they make a purchase and they feel like they're getting bombarded with emails and different offers right away when they just bought and they haven't even received their product yet. Whereas some audiences, they actually want to hear more from you after they buy. Sometimes people, they become more invested and they want to get more information from you. They want more offers and they're ready to buy again right away. And the only way to figure out which side of the fence your audience is on is to test. And a lot of times it's just because people respond one way in the welcome series doesn't mean they'll respond the same way in the post-purchase. So you want to be testing on both flows. And the last thing I want to leave you with here is that you always want to keep the message relevant to where they are in the buyer's journey. So remember that new leads might not know much about your company because you don't know if they've been following you on social media for months and they're already very familiar with you before they've signed up for this first time, or if this is their very first time landing on your website and they clicked an ad that they just saw today for the first time. So because you don't really know, you have to treat them as if they don't know much about your brand, and you want to remind them of your differentiators early and often to really communicate that point across of what sets you apart and why they should buy from you. And then when it comes to the post-purchase flow emails, existing customers, they really want to feel valued. They want to feel separated from the people who have never purchased from you. So you want to make a point of saying things that reference the fact that they are a customer, and especially if they're a repeat customer, because that's going to foster more brand loyalty. And it's also just going to give them a better and more personalized customer experience.